Hey indiebirth community, Margot here, coming at you live from under my apple tree here at my new house, which is really exciting. Just moved to the country a couple of weeks ago, and I feel like I have a lot more to say about that in the future. I'm really excited to start doing some more kind of like physical projects that I've been wanting to do in terms of birth work and midwifery work for a while. A really super awesome like women's herbal garden, and I'm excited to be offering some pregnancy circles and education here, having a space to do that, etc., etc. But that's not what I'm here to talk about today. Today I wanted to talk about birth preparation as a form of self-awareness and as a self-development process. So often when we think about birth preparation, and I know I can sometimes even be guilty of this, we think about how do we get more concrete facts, information, knowledge into the hands of people who are going to be giving birth. I have a free online birth preparation course for women here in the area where I live in a couple weeks. And it's always this balance of trying to figure out, how much to do of that part, how much do we just talk about, the things that are really interesting and important to understand about birth, versus doing the inner work and guiding people on doing their own inner work. So Marin and I are always talking about this and trying to figure out how do we do this better, both with the education we offer in person, online, and with our own clients. And so this is something we've been talking a lot about in the last few months, as she and I both have been doing a variety of our own inner work and self-development stuff. And so she sent me over some really amazing journal questions that she came up with for her clients. And it's not a finished document yet, still adding to it, but there are these really amazing questions that help get to the heart of that inner work. There are questions like, what do you believe about birth, really? And having a big space for a stream of consciousness, sort of like, just a space to just kind of like let it all out, and not just the surface 5%, but the 95% that we aren't always as conscious of, into, way more deep questions about like, what do you believe about your body? How has your body surprised you in the past? Has it ever failed you? Failed in quotation marks. And how did that feel? How did you handle that? What are your deepest beliefs, about your body? What are your core spiritual beliefs? And this is something that I'm really wanting to develop more as I work with clients and in my own life, to really return to those core beliefs, especially the spiritual piece, and figure out how to weave that into the everyday more and more, and to weave that into my work as a midwife. Because it can be really easy, even when we have long visits with people, it can be easy to kind of like just assume that piece is covered, whether that's someone doing their own spiritual work kind of in between visits, or there's this unspoken thing, but like it really deserves to be brought to the surface and brought to the light, and make sure that everybody is having a conversation about like, what are your core spiritual beliefs and how does birth fit into that? And as a midwife, how can I honor that for you? And also, how do I best serve and witness your process in that way? So that's something that I'm working on. These questions are really fantastic. And so I just wanted to share a little bit of a story and like the spark that it lit in me from this past couple weeks. I met with a couple who were thinking about home birth, who were kind of like dipping a toe in the home birth pool, so to speak. And it was very clear to me that they were the absolute wrong fit for me and the kind of midwifery that I do and what I offer. And so much of that feeling came from the fact that they were asking a lot of those concrete fact questions. Not that there's anything wrong with that. There is a time and a place for that, or the cart, if that makes sense. They were I think I'm back. They were asking me very specific questions about like, what would you do if this came up, and what would you do if that came up? But they were not, and maybe it was my own issue in terms of like managing the energy and managing the flow of the appointment, but we hadn't had the conversation that obviously needed to happen around like what do they actually believe about birth and how do they actually feel when they think about having their baby at home versus in the hospital. Like, how does it make them feel? Where do they feel the safest? And those are the conversations that need to happen before getting into like these details that are erroneous if the beliefs and desires don't line up with what it is that I'm offering. And so this one, if the beliefs and desires don't line up with what it is that I'm offering. And so this one, if the beliefs and desires don't line up with what it is that I'm offering. And so this one, these questions, this connection is driving me crazy. Sorry. These questions, this connection is driving me crazy. Sorry. These questions, this connection is driving me crazy. Sorry. So this couple was given a copy of these questions, these journal questions, and I told her that if she did nothing else, if she didn't do any other birth preparation work, if she didn't watch any more videos or read any more books or take any more classes, that these questions were the thing to focus on before she... So this couple was given a copy of these questions, these journal questions, and I told her that if she did nothing else, if she didn't do any other birth preparation work, if she didn't watch any more videos or read any more books or take any more classes, that these questions were the thing to focus on before she... So this couple was given a copy of these questions, these journal questions, and I told her that if she did nothing else, if she didn't do any other birth preparation work, if she didn't watch any more videos or read any more books or take any more classes, that these questions were the thing to focus on before she had her baby. These questions about, about your body, your beliefs about your body, your deepest soul desires, not just about birth, but about life, how you interact with life on, a pattern level. Do you see yourself as a victim? Do you see yourself as powerful? And I told her, when it comes down to it, and this is what I would say to anybody, and this was me knowing like this client is not somebody, or this was not somebody who I was going to take on as a client. So I said, no matter where you have your baby, no matter how you have your baby, who it's with, this is the work that I recommend doing, because you are going to have to get your baby out. You are the one, your body, your... And this is not a blaming thing, so I just want to preface what I'm about to say with that. But a lot of the times, there are real things that can come up in birth that make it so a cesarean birth or, a vacuum extraction or something really is life. And this is not a blaming thing, so I just want to preface what I'm about to say with that. But a lot of the times, there are real things that can come up in birth that make it so a cesarean birth or, a vacuum extraction or something really is life. And this is not a blaming thing, so I just want to preface what I'm about to say with that. But a lot of the times, there are real things that can come up in birth that make it so a cesarean birth or, a vacuum extraction or something really is life-saving. There are things that can come up. But that said, there are a huge amount of times where people have that story where someone else had to save them, someone else had to do it for them. And I can very clearly see from the outside, and I would never say this to a person unless they asked me directly, but I can see the way in which their beliefs played into that outcome. And this is the work that we as midwives need to be brave, and as doulas as well. We need to be brave and share with our clients. And again, it's not about blaming. It's about recognizing our own beliefs and how they shape our reality. And how until we really cultivate our own sense of inner authority and our own power, there is no way to have a powerful self-directed birth. So this is why I titled this video Birth as Self-Awareness, and I'd go on to say like self-development, self-mastery, because birth is not separate from life, right? I'm sure you've probably heard this idea that we birth the way we live. So if we are living in fear, if we're afraid to speak our mind, if we think we are weak, if we think we can't do it, if we think our body sucks, those things are going to impact us during the labor and birth process. There is no way around it. And so I'm really excited to work some more on these questions with Marin, and we were just saying this morning that we are going to make them into a really awesome indiebirth PDF that we'll have available for people to download. So watch for that. We'll try to put that in the stories and probably as a post this week, and share that with our indiebirth community, because we think these are the questions that really need to be asked of ourselves, and that we need to be asking of, the women who've invited us into their birthing year. And we owe it to ourselves and to them to really take on the challenge of doing this hard work. Not just be like, what are your birth preferences? And like do a stupid fucking checklist that is going to get people nowhere. We need to go deeper than that. And we are really excited to have a large community and a growing community of birth workers who are ready to take on that challenge. So that's, I think, kind of all I wanted to say this exact moment. We are going to be doing a free webinar tomorrow, and you can learn more about that at indiebirth.org/doula dreams. And it's going to be all about both the real and imagined obstacles to becoming a powerful doula in your community. So we've talked to hundreds and hundreds of aspiring doulas, doulas who have done a training, people who haven't done a training yet, but want to do this work. And we have heard from them some very common themes, and we want to share those with you in terms of why people are not getting from point A to point B, really making a solid difference in their own community, because we need more of you to be doing this work. So that's tomorrow. We're going to be talking about some of the fake obstacles that are not actually obstacles that people get kind of like sucked into. And then we're also going to talk about the real obstacles that we've heard come up over and over again, and give you some ideas and some inspiration for how to overcome those. So again, that's indiebirth.org/doula dreams if you want to register for that free, which is happening. Sorry for the spotty connection. That's all for now, but watch for those questions and that PDF that we're going to make available for you all soon. Thanks. Sorry for the spotty connection. That's all for now, but watch for those questions and that PDF that we're going to make available for you all soon. Thanks. Sorry for the spotty connection. That's all for now, but watch for those questions and that PDF that we're going to make available for you all soon. Thanks.